Moisten? Ugh. I hope that's never becomes a move. Like, there's like damp is an ability, but
Like
moisten is
water
not.
sport,
You know.
maybe. All
Ugh.
right, we ain't doing this anymore. We're getting in the news.
Speaking of
I ain't having
moisten,
this.
things that make me moist, Epic Games and Fortnite. And talking about Epic Games and Fortnite. No, no, our first bit of news is actually about Epic Games. Um, Epic Games has now decided to lend out their Unreal Engine to animation studios in order to create films. And there is an upcoming film called Gilgamesh that is the first partner with them, that is using the Unreal Engine in order to make an actual film, a full-on film. Um, so thank you, John. I know. So yeah, I mean, just more ways for Epic to make money. That's exciting.
Yeah, just them being like, okay, well, we're already printing money by letting people use our Unreal Engine. And now we can break into the animated movie industry
Yep.
with the Unreal Engine. And like
More
the
ways to make
the
2D
amount of
waifus.
money they are going to make is going to be fucking ridiculous. Like they're going to be printing money
At
with
this
this
rate,
thing.
like their growth, you keep on expecting it to slow down over time, but they just keep on going up and up and up, and you see news like this and
Oh,
you're just like, holy shit,
where's it
man. Like,
stop?
yeah, if you're not
Yeah,
invested in
they could
them,
be
you
Epic
should be.
Entertainment soon.
Like, yeah, basically. With mall as their
Like
headquarters. Like,
honestly, yeah. Hell, that might be part of what they're part of what the move's for. Like they're just I in the beginning I was as happy to hate Epic as anybody was. I was, responsible for all these Fortnite kitties running around.
squeakers.
The moment at which I started respecting Epic Games was the minute they came out with the Epic Games Store. And I have been riding Epic ever since. Like it's
Is it because of the free games?
that and the fact that it's like it always makes me a little sad when I see an industry leader like the company that comes out with the game of a certain era of time, like Riot Games and League, Blizzard, and literally every game they've made, just like wasted. And Riot almost did. Riot tried their very best to come out with League and stop and just do nothing else. And then somebody woke up and was like, "Hey guys,
Hey, hey.
I don't know how to break this to you, but I don't think League will last forever. Maybe we should consider making something else." They said, "All right, how about we make a tabletop game?" And then eventually they came out with other games. But like Epic did not waste any time. They had that Fortnite money. We're like, okay, what can we do to like invest and expand and plan for the future? Fortnite won't be here forever. We need to do something. They already had Unreal at that point, but the game store was like the most ambitious move they could have made. They keep making
Yeah.
smart
I
moves
mean,
like
like,
this.
you're gonna go from somebody like, yeah, we made Fortnite, to just like, oh, we made a direct competitor to Steam. It's just like, oh, all right. Um, I mean, it's something neat that I just have like downloaded. I don't. I think I have a lot of respect for Epic Games. I'm not a hater of them, I would say. Um, I'm not gonna play Fortnite. That's just never gonna happen. Not in who I am or anything. But like,
Mhm.
I respect what they've done. I respect their sheer business prowess is
Yeah.
like crazy. To the ability for them to just be like, okay, we were successful with one thing, and then like you said, they took it and they immediately reinvested it into other avenues, and we're continuing to see that with the animated film
Mhm.
thing, and I think we're gonna continue to see that. Um, and I actually, Sam, I actually don't know, I didn't know about that at all. Buying
Mhm.
out games for a year to make them exclusive. Is that exclusive? Do you mean exclusive to the Epic Store, like PC
The Epic
games?
Store. Yeah.
So, like, are
That's
there?
where a lot of the flack they've gotten comes from. Like games that they like come out on the Epic store, it's typically because Epic has paid the developer a lot of money to be so that Epic store is the only place that it comes out. I think Borderlands 3 was a big title where this happened, and it generated a lot of bad PR for Epic.
Hmm.
Um because Borderlands 3 came out on the Epic store and you couldn't get it anywhere else for a full year.
Right. Well,
And
so
yeah, go ahead.
sorry. One is, I guess they can still release on consoles if it's not uh, a PC only game. I'm assuming. I'm not sure, but I would assume as much. Um, and two, I mean, bad PR is still PR though, right? So like, even if people are gonna complain about it, the people who want to play Borderlands 3, they're gonna have to go through Epic, right? So you're gonna get some sort of PR coverage, right? And you're still going to get people, some amount of new people, to at least try out your platform, right? So I don't know that
Right.
it's necessarily all a bad thing. Um, I don't. I'm
Yeah.
curious as to why people would be so upset about it. Is it because it's more difficult to do things, like, or is it just because it's cool to hate on them?
Yeah, welcome to my question. That's basically my question. I think it was a great business decision for exactly the reasons you said. Um, in terms of why people were mad, some people were like, they I think there was a few people who, screamed monopoly, which is hilarious. You'd rather does Steam mean anything to you? It's our first competitor to Steam, and now it's funny. But so that was one thing. There's definitely team. It's cool to hate on Epic, which I think was the largest team. Um, which was also that team tended to also be team. Well, I have to. It's not Steam, and I have to open Epic Games Store, and I don't like Epic Games Store because and then like the smoke comes out and they're like and then you 15 seconds left because Fortnite.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and there were a few like Epic. Sophie will be the first to tell you because her brother works there. Like there's been a few moral scruples that Epic has had, like a few the kind of thing that happens at any big company, like a few shady moves, which not impressive, but you're not going to find it's kind of as opposed to Steam again. Um, and there was like one issue with they had a password leak early on.
Mm.
Um, so people would typically cite that and the lack of Epic Game Store's features at the time, and to be fair, even now, it's behind Steam in terms of what it offers. So there are people who are just like, I want it to come out on Steam for these reasons. Some of the reasons would be, bullshit, lazy. I don't want to open Epic Game Store. And some of them would be, all my friends are on Steam.
Yeah, that was the first thing
Epic
I
Game
thought
Store
of.
doesn't have this and that. It's frustrating that I have to wait and do this. And if I want to play the game now, that's $60 I'm never going to get back, kind of thing.
Well, I think you
Um,
would be
which is
paying
valid.
the $60 anywhere though, right? Like you'd be paying the sixty
Yeah,
dollars
but
on
it's
any
like
platform.
$60 that, in 1 year you're going to be faced with, okay, well, now I can play it on Steam, but then what happens to, the money I spent on Epic, which
Mm.
on the one hand, I get that, but on the other hand, for people who don't like Epic like morally, I think they've like you said, Sam, and also they've done a lot for developers in terms of giving money back to developers. Um, and I can't hate on that. They give you free games and everything. The existence of the Epic Game Store has probably saved people more money um, than anything. I can't. There are less and less reasons to legitimately hate on Epic by the month. So to the people that are still mad about Epic buying games exclusivity for a year. You know,
Yeah. I'm.
pick your battles.
I think it's just like change is difficult for people to grasp, especially when there's something that has monopolized that market, like Steam already had. Um, like you don't want the idea, you don't like the idea of having another thing either to open or um, like just as a competitor, especially when it's something social where you want to have all your friends like within like Steam, you know how to get your friends to play the game with you, like you know how it operates, and you don't want to have to learn something new, figure out new processes in order to play something when you already had or would have had the option to play it on something you know.
Hmm.
So I guess I can see that, but at the same time, if we're in a world that's supposed to be constantly evolving, then we need technological competitors wherever we can get them. And that's going to be Epic should only encourage Steam to be a better program, right? So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's see. Consoles make games exclusive. Yeah, but there's reason for that. Like it's on PC, I guess there's the option. But yeah. So who won?
Kuro,
Oh, okay. I was like, what do you mean won? Yes, Kuro definitely won.
the old
We were
crotchety men of the
live at
gaming industry did
6:02.
win. That's who won.
Yeah, they've been winning. Their
uh,
goal is to complain, and they've succeeded.
yeah. Um,
Speaking
well,
of Steam,
I was just gonna. Dang it, that was mine. No.
ha! This was also yours, though. I don't know anything about this,
Oh well.
which is unfortunate because it's an important
It's
piece of
very
news by the looks of
interesting
it.
actually to me because I didn't know. Well,
Here's the link, everyone. I can read it the same
so
time you
this
do.
story is that Valve has been among the list of publishers that have been fined millions due to geo-blocking or region-locking game sales in the EU. So what people
Hmm.
would do in the EU, or to some degree even here, I've had people do it, or I've known people to do it like me, but I didn't. I would never. Is you would change your region or buy a code for a game, a Steam game or something from a different region, and input it into your Steam and activate the product, and you would buy it in a different region so that it's cheaper. And in EU, apparently Steam and a few of these other companies like blocked that. Like you weren't, if you were in one EU territory or whatever, you couldn't purchase, you didn't have the option to buy the game from another area. And it turns out that is very illegal. Per some, I don't know. So I would have to look at the article again to tell you exactly what it was. But it's is definitely not a legal thing to do. And among like I want to say like the other companies were not small companies. Let me click on this actually. Like Bandai
Oh,
Namco, Bamco was one of
yep.
them.
Focus Home, uh,
Koch Media and
Cox
ZeniMax.
Media.
Yeah.
ZeniMax is not small.
Yeah.
Actually, none of
So
them are small.
what was
Here's the
it?
thing. Um, Today's sanctions against the geo-blocking practices of Valve and five PC video game publishers serve as a reminder that under EU competition law, companies are prohibited from contractually restricting cross-border sales, says
That's
the
right.
European Commission's head of competition policy.
Because it's supposed to affect the competitive market within
Yes.
that area. Um so yeah. Um I guess that's
Oh,
go ahead.
let's see. Five. Yeah, so the five publishers were fined. Let's see. Four of the companies cooperated with the investigation, which ended up reducing their fines by 10 to 15%. Speaking of crotchety old men of the gaming industry, Valve chose not to cooperate and will be fined over $1.9 million,
Yeah,
which honestly for Valve is
probably is
pocket
chump
change.
change.
But
Yeah. And
Like,
they
come
do,
on.
like Sam said, they do plan to appeal the decision because the one company or the lawyer or whoever it was, I'm not exactly sure, they were like, yeah, Valve has not been cooperative at all. And then Valve comes in and was like, we were cooperative. And so now
But
they're,
we were.
yeah, I don't know. It's somebody's word against somebody else's, so it's gonna get all legal and whatnot. But over 1.9 million dollars, I would expect it to get legal. So
Yeah. Also for the precedent, which honestly I think they care more about the precedent than they do um about the actual money. Like they could, you know, drop 1.9 million on like chromed pocket lint for
yeah,
their employees and it wouldn't mean anything. But if this goes through successfully and they and they just like let it go, then suddenly Steam is left in this weird spot of, they're losing money because people are buying their games on the cheap. And that I'm sure will add up to 1.9 million fast. So I'm guessing that's why that's their stance in this.
well, because there's already
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you can think of G2A comes to mind, Kingwin comes to mind. Like there's a bunch of websites that sell Steam keys at cheaper
Mhm.
prices than they are on Steam, and you can buy ones from different regions or whatever. And
Not
I
that you know about this.
no, this is just research. And the I don't think all of them are region locked. I know you have to have like a US one for it to work in the US, but for some games you can use like EU codes on your US Steam or something like that. And I know for
Mhm.
some other, like for some console situations, you can just like go in your console and change your country, go onto the console store like the PlayStation Network or whatever, and have access to things that that country only has.
Is that easy
Yeah, like
on a console?
I've done that on a console for a game, and I've done that on the phone also. Like I've just changed my app store to be like it's one of the I think it was the Australia App Store or something like that to get one of the Pokemon games earlier, and then just switch back. And it's just like, all right, sure, dude. You think you he's like you've been in North Carolina the past 4 years, you've had that phone, but now you're in Australia. Okay.
For all of 1 hour.
Yeah, like
Oh, back to North Carolina. There's no time delay on that.
it was really easy, honestly, if I just
Oh,
looked
that's
it up
funny.
online or whatever. So, I I don't know exactly why they're trying to bar it from happening, especially if it's supposed to make the market more competitive. I guess it's because they would be losing money because of the
Yeah, they're
keys.
definitely losing money
But
on
how
that.
would somebody get the keys for a cheaper price, right? Oh, it's Sophie. It's gonna text to speech. Hi, Sophie. Thank you, Sophie.
News.
News.
Sorry, I tried to time this at a good time and will almost certainly fail. News.
News. There's no bad time to subscribe, Sophie. Thank you so
Well, so
much
yeah,
for
what you
throwing your money
failed
at
to
us.
account for, Sophie, in your generosity is that there's never a dull moment on Armaldo and Shedinja Done News. Never a slow. Actually, we had about 30 straight slow minutes earlier as we waited for the faithless
The
to come
faithless.
crawling in. Yeah, that's everyone but Kuro, Cavi, and John are
The
the faithless.
faithless.
Yeah, we still love you dearly,
Just not
but
as much as we love others.
just not as much as we love Kuro, Cavi, and yeah, Kuro and Cavi. John was here, I guess,
um,
but
yeah, I
yeah,
don't know what I would say. I don't know how. Both say it's fair. Excellent. Um, like so, I don't know how the individuals who resell the keys get the keys in the first place, and how they would do that cheaper than retail. That's where I'm lost in it. So, like, if you're reselling the key for cheaper on Kingwin or on G2A or whatever, then how are you selling it for that cheap price? Like, how are you getting the key cheap in the first place? But I don't know.
well, like
That's
you buy it, it's the same. They're just like a media. I think they either get it for sales or they're like a middleman for people who don't know where what the key is worth in a given country. I imagine that they've got like automated, hey, it's on sale
Buy
for
it for
people
cheap.
in this region,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
then they'll based on demand, pick up X number of keys,
That makes
and
sense.
then they'll come to you and sell it. And I'm guessing
They'll flip it to
if
some degree.
you, for whatever, yeah, they just flip it. And if you knew and were constantly watching, could probably get it, cheap and not pay. I'm guessing there's a markup in there, but it's
Yeah, well, I
probably
mean,
silly.
even then, like I would assume what they would do is they just, purchase it when it's on sale, and then some person comes in and they're like, I really want this game, but it's not on sale. And then you go on their website and it's like 20% off or whatever the retail
Yeah.
price. You're like, well, golly gee willikers, don't mind if I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, makes sense. Makes sense.
Actually, speaking of games being percent off, we have to. We're gonna skip in the news order here.
Oh, we are? Okay. Which one are we going to?
Yes. Where's it?
Okay. Yeah. Number 4.
Yes, number 4. And this is another column one, but
No. You got it. You got it.
see, I don't know.
I mean, I can talk about it if you want. I just feel bad. I'm taking all
Yeah,
of
go
them.
ahead and talk about it. I'll do a few
Yeah,
later ones.
so good news for all of you people who haven't played Cyberpunk yet. Cyberpunk 2077 is already down to $30 retail for a new copy. This is specifically for the PS4 and the Xbox One versions. But what the article
The old
recommends,
janky ones that don't work.
yeah, the article recommends it's like if you have a PS5 or Xbox, whatever, One X or whatever they are, the new ones, just get the old copy, the old ones, and play them on your new console because apparently they run just wonderfully on the new consoles. They run like utter shit on the old consoles. But $30 is pretty cheap, and the PC version is also down to $40. So
Really?
yeah, I guess that their CD Projekt Red is trying to make just a tiny bit of their money back after the refunds
CD Projekt
happened.
Red is taking L's
Yeah.
everywhere, dude. They're getting sued. They the amount of people that have already refunded their games, which you don't have numbers on that yet, but
They
I'm guessing
also
is
are letting the
at least one or
people.
two.
They did come out with a piece of news that they're letting the people who refunded the game keep the game. So yeah, they're trying. I think they're just
So that
trying
huge wave
so
of hype,
hard.
they've made no
They're
money
trying
on.
so hard to give these people a reason to like them again, but it
Yeah.
is tough.
Yeah. There's another lawsuit, which is, I think this one was kind of expected. It's a class action
I think it's
lawsuit
the
being filed
exact
against CD
same
Projekt Red.
as their previous lawsuit. I think it's the exact same
Yeah.
one, or essentially.
It
It's
might be
just
from a different
more.
group,
Yeah,
but the premise is basically the launch was misleading, which is not wrong. We have another piece of news here that talks about how at E3 their demo. Here we go. It's actually in Bloomberg. Fun. In here it talks about how the E3 demo of Cyberpunk, like the video, the gameplay, was faked start to end. Like it wasn't gameplay, it was just like compiled videos, like a rendered, like pre-recorded. It's made to look good. Which when you read this article and find out that that's maybe because developers were told that this would be a 2022 release
yeah,
instead of a 20 release.
yeah. And that's when they got. I think that's where a lot of the issue came in. Is they were like, "Oh, that's hot shit. That looks really good for now. It's gonna look great when it comes out in 3 years from now. I'm gonna invest in this." And then the game suddenly comes out 2 years prior to them expecting it. Now you've got a lawsuit
Mhm.
on your hands.
Well, that and like the developers, I'm guessing by this point were already told, "Hey, that game you've been working on, you've certainly managed to flesh out the character creation aspect of this game. But we really like what you got going on. Why don't hear me out? And I'm accepting all comments and criticism. Release the game in 2020 instead of 2022. I hear you, but I'm ignoring you.
Yeah.
It's coming out in 2020. Get ready.
Yeah.
And then they're like, it's not ready. And so I'm guessing they kind of had to like. And
Like,
by the
but the
way, we need an
character
E3 gameplay
selection,
video.
character customization looks so good. What do you mean the rest of the game's not ready?
Yeah. So, man, 2 more years sounds about like the amount of time this game needed. Like it would be so much more fleshed out. Old like the PS4 and the current generation Xbox, like no one would be using them. Like the PS5 and the new Xbox Series would have been out
Yeah.
and popular by then. We
You
wouldn't
we
have
wouldn't
this
even
whole
have to
issue.
worry about releasing it for the PS4 or the Xbox One. Like, it wouldn't
Yeah.
even have to deal with the technical constraints of that. So there was
Like
only like
there's
6 options
this
for
explains
PP.
everything.
I think
Like
there were
it's
actually
just
only like 3 options for PPs, to be honest. Maybe 4. Limited PP
well then
options.
never mind. None of it was fleshed out. If you only have 3 options for customizing your character's dick, then really is there any reason to buy this game at all? That costs everything.
Not when it's more than $30.
Yeah, but now like that's $10 per dick customization
Exactly, and I'm willing to pay that premium.
option. Honestly, at $30, that's probably worth. Like, man, these poor people. I have every bit of sympathy for the people who worked at CD Pro, like the developers, but so little sympathy for that. One of the co-creators of CD Projekt Red who came out and apologized, and then immediately, if you watch the video, he apologizes, and his words, his sorry hasn't even been echoing throughout the studio. It hasn't even finished doing that before he starts talking about how and QA caught none of these bugs. Our QA team really messed up here, and I'm
Oh,
sorry about that. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa,
that's
whoa, whoa.
that is so
So
shitty. That is awful.
he's like, and you can blame me
For hiring
if
this QA team.
you blame. Yes, that's
That's
yeah, that's
just
exactly it. Like,
that's just so
I have no
awful.
sympathy for that dude.
That's just so bad. And
Yes,
like the developers had to have like I think they've come out and said that they've told the I don't know who it is, the person behind like the big man in charge here
yeah, the middle management.
that like, hey, this is not a good idea for it to release right now. It is not ready. And then the other people are just like, well, tough nuts. It's going to be the game of the year. And yeah, it's just such a shame that shit like this has to happen like as often as it does in the gaming industry. Like you would think that people would learn from previous releases, like just take the extra time, make a really banger game. And it's like it's not like it's a bad game. It's a game that came out with a bunch of shitty bugs that made it unplayable. And like it's still if it's 2 years short of being a complete game and it releases and it's still getting like as good reviews as it
Is
is,
this good?
yeah, like that should just let you know if that could have solidified CDPR as like the developer company like in the gaming industry. Now they're known for a
Yeah,
little bit different things, you
they're
know.
known for the color yellow. I was listening. One of the podcasts I listened to actually get some of this news was saying that he will never in his life be able to see that particular shade of retina scalding yellow with like black text on it without immediately feeling like a plunging
A sinking
sensation in his
feeling.
stomach. He's like, oh, like he just sees it and it's like, what now? And I
Dearest
can't blame him.
valued players, our
No,
QA
gamers,
team. Yeah, that's right, gamers.
gamers, dear gamers.
On behalf of me, but mostly the QA team, I'm very sorry. That's so bad. You know, it seems like every week we talk about Epic a lot, like Valve and Epic, and I'm just gonna dive into the next quick story here. This one shouldn't be a very long one, but Epic took they turned around and they have pledged another $20 million. I shouldn't say another. Pledged $20 million in prizing for Fortnite this year. And I actually didn't know that last year they put in $17 million for prizing. So for them to turn around this year and add an additional $3 million for prizing for Fortnite, in addition to all of the new projects that they're heading or being a part of, I wonder how much money Epic actually has at this point, where they could just be like, yeah, here's another 3 million, whatever. We're also working on
Yeah.
creating an animation studio or whatever, outsourcing our tools to animation studios while also heading a new competitor to Steam while also creating new games that aren't Fortnite. It's like it's just and also doing this and also doing this, and it's just crazy.
It's impressive. Apparently in 2019 it was 30 million, but one, that was pre-COVID, and two, that was Fortnite was bigger then. The fact that they can still pony up $20 million for Fortnite means, yeah, I agree with everything College
Well, that's actually
said.
very interesting. It went down to 17 million last year, and then it went back up this year. Like,
Yeah,
it's
which
very
I
odd
mean,
for pricing to go back up after it's gone down, I would
well,
think.
you just have to like consider the year that was 2020. Like, I'm sure their revenue, even Epic's revenue, was down. Like, esports as a whole was suffering.
I suppose
They
that's
probably
true.
just didn't have enough money to throw around. But like after 1 year of that, they can still do 20. That ain't bad.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. I'm also curious at when they would invest this money or where, like, what point. Because, like, if they're pledging it now at 20 million, I wonder at what point in 2020 they put the 17 million forth. That would, I think, be a huge factor in the fact that
Mhm.
it's 17 million.
My
um,
question is that what is the Fortnite esports scene like anyway?
a bunch of
Like,
14
how
year
does that
olds.
work? No, but how do you like considering that Fortnite is a solo battle royale? There aren't teams. You don't come in squads.
You can.
They just you come in. Oh, you can.
I think yeah, there's
I thought they
teams
were
for
all
Fortnite.
unofficial.
You can do like teams of two or something like that. It might be more than that, but I know that you can
Even
do two.
still,
Yeah.
like with so many people out there, how is this like a I struggle so hard to figure out what this would look like as a sport. Maybe I just need to go watch like old Fortnite worlds. But like they turn you loose and it's you and 800 million other people
Hmm.
in like an enclosed space. And so you're out here like strategizing, you're thinking, you're moving, you're scouting, and then XX Fortnite player 16
Poon
XX.
Slayer 29 XX.
Yeah, comes out of nowhere and his team's over here, and then you have another person over here, and then you just get like dummied by, multiple things ganging up on you. Like in most of these esports competitions, it's one team versus another team, or it's like one, well, really is just like one team versus another team. I've never, making an esport out of a battle royale just seems so weird and volatile. Like,
Random, I guess. Well,
what do
I
you do if you're super good and people know you're super good and you just get ganged up on? Like, there's nothing you can do about that.
Well, I mean, that could have been the case. I'm sure it was the case at least at some point for Ninja or whatever, because the guy who won, I think it was this last year, I hadn't heard his name before. That doesn't say much because I don't know the Fortnite scene at all. But it was a younger kid. I think he was 16, so I want to say
Yeah.
16.
I
So I
was looking at the
mean,
article and he just looked like a squeaker.
yeah, I don't know anything really about that, but I would think that that does play into it at some point. But at the same time, when you're dropping into a competitive situation like that, how are you going to convince, XX Poon Slayer 29 over there to not shoot you and to instead collab with you to kill, Ninja or whatever? And you always run the risk too of just if they're the better player, just getting embarrassed and
They're losing.
dicked on
Yeah.
by them. So I don't know. I don't know how much it does play a part in those kind of things. I mean, I've enjoyed playing JJ and I played a battle royale called Realm Royale for a little while. That was pretty fun. But other than that, I don't think there was also Battle Right, which was it was originally an arena fighter. It came out with a battle royale mode. And those are really the only two battle royales I've gotten into. I don't really have much love for the genre unless it hits a particular niche for me. So
hmm
yeah, Realm was good fun. Realm was actually not bad. I didn't mind it at all. The main problem I have with Fortnite is the building aspect of it. It doesn't appeal to me specifically. It just don't. So
Yeah.
um,
I don't think I've ever played a VR, so I kind of uneducated on all this. But let's see.
imagine shooting
Oh
someone.
yes,
We're not promoting that kind of violence in our chat. And then they build a
yeah.
skyscraper. All right, there we go.
Imagine shooting me from down there. Let's see. Speaking of things going up, like skyscraper.
Yeah. Thank you. Excellent explanation too. That was good. I like that.
Yes, thank you. I just the price of the Xbox Live Gold
Beats wrong.
subscription is going up by $1 from $10 to $11 per month, which sounds not bad. You think, okay, well, it's been $10 since about the dawn of time.
Hmm.
Um,
Easily dawn of time.
so they've come out with more games, better games. That's fine, but going into the article, which you can find here, and was so significant that I felt the need to accidentally repost it after Colin had already posted it.
Which I have to say that my
More
use
than
of the
that,
Spider-Man meme was fantastic.
it was. I was laughing at that regard.
$1 more than my
Um,
Cyberpunk PP. I know. Yet another
yeah,
reason to
per
give
month too,
CDPR your money instead of
recurring.
anyone else.
But no, it's so before this, you're for 6 months. I know the details are in here. It was like $45 for 6 months. Where is it? 60 a year. Blah, blah. Okay. 6 months is $60. Um, yeah. I can't find the exact dollar amount in here, but it used to be that you could get for either 35 or 40 or for $45, you could get a 6-month membership, and for $60, you could get a year's membership, which is pretty good. Like it was 10 a month, and then for 100 for $60 you can get 12 months. So pretty good deal. Now they have slightly bumped up the monthly price, and the price increases less as you go up. But they've also surreptitiously gotten rid of the yearly option. So you can't do that anymore. And incidentally, the best deal now is the 6-month deal, priced at a low $60.
What a deal.
Yeah, they're basically paying you. So on the surface, it's a $1 monthly increase. It also happens to mean that the price has doubled for people who are subscribed for long periods of time. It is now $120 per year instead of 60.
That's six whole
So
dollars, at least.
so yeah, no, it is a $60 yearly increase, which is a little more worth writing Microsoft's manager about. And the case still stands. The price, and they say this in their blog post where they talk about this. Yeah, this price has not changed in like since I think the actual number was a year was 2012 or 2010, and like the amount of games that support live now is through the roof
Yep.
since then. Like it's gotta this is worth more, so we're making it cost more.
I think
Is basically what they
also,
said.
like, they've been rolling out more games coming to, like, because this is also for gold, I think. And when you have
Yeah.
gold, you get free games every month, kind of the same way that PlayStation with PS Plus, you get free games every month. I think they've been rolling or
Mhm.
increasing the amount of games that you get from gold. So, I mean, it's not
Yeah.
like you're not getting anything for it. You still are, but it's the price increase is drastic, but in a way that's not immediately noticeable if you just look at the $1 increase on the price tag, especially if you're someone who purchases it annually. You know, this year you're going to be
Yeah.
like, well,
If
I
you want
normally
the
pay
best
60.
deal,
I'm going to pay double
yeah.
that.
So it is, not a I guess not a small price hike, but I mean honestly, I can't be mad. Like you get a lot of value out of it, and I think a lot of the reason that people are reacting negatively to this is the fact that it also happens to be a pretty transparent push towards people getting the $15 per month Game Pass, like Ultimate subscription, which includes their huge catalog of games that is what their latest console series is basically based off of. They're trying to push more people into that way of using their Xbox console. Um, and I guess people feel like they're being played by Microsoft, and I get that.
Hmm.
But they also make a really valid point that this is what it's worth now. Like,
Yeah, I get it, I
deal with it.
guess, but like, it still will leave a bad taste, and I think a lot of people's mouths if they dive into it as deep as we were able to. And by that I mean reading the article. So,
Yeah, reading a 4 paragraph article by The Verge.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I understand. I understand why it's happening. Yeah. But eh, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Yeah.
um, you want to take number 7?
Oh yeah,
I'm
sure.
experiencing an overwhelming
Eh.
meh. Yeah.
Guess what, guys? It's the product you've all been waiting for. A new VR headset designed by Apple. So get your wallets ready because apparently this one's going to cost no small amount of money, just like every other VR headset. But this one has an Apple on it, so it's going to cost just a little bit more than
It's
no
gonna
small amount of
cost,
money.
you're gonna have to
So,
sell your house for this.
um,
But
yeah,
it's got a fan.
they are working on a new headset, and it is supposed to come with a fan in it, and it's going to be battery operated, so you won't have to have all the wires and stuff. Um, I was
This is
reading through
such an
the
Apple product.
yeah, I was reading through
Look
it,
at how it looks.
and it's apparently Apple is really struggling with making this. They've had a number of prototypes they've had to just like get rid of because like they were too heavy or they were just straight up not functional. So I'm sure it'll come out and it'll be quality like most of Apple's products are, but it'll also be a quality price point that I'm sure everybody will be clamoring to pay for. So, I mean, more power to them. I'm not a big VR guy. I've tried it. It's cool in the moment, but it's not something I'm gonna do every day at all. So
Mm-mm.
I'm sure it's something Apple's gonna be like, we'll produce like 10 of them to every store, and then they're gonna sell out immediately at every
Yeah, the
store.
Apple fanboys are gonna come like
Yeah.
ravening. I don't know where Apple fanboys get their money from because that's not a cheap it's not being an Apple fanboy is not cheap. Like
Yeah, look, yeah, who's ready to
years
fork up
behind and free.
3K for this
No,
clunky
Sam.
disaster? It's
They
true.
have fans, Sam.
Battery
They're not
operated.
years behind. They're innovating. Yes, they have batteries.
Lithium ion batteries. No, it's the draw to it is supposed to be just based on this alone, less wires and a fan in the product. That's it. so far.
How much you think that's gonna run you?
Yeah,
How much you think
exactly.
dropping those wires in the fan?
I
I
don't
can't
know.
wait to know how much this costs.
And like I said, I'm sure it's going to be a good product, but I'm sure it's going to cost you at least twice the amount of the Vive or whatever on release was. So I'm ready for it when Apple is ready to release it. And I will be completely unchanged when they do release it. So, um,
You'll hear about it on the news. Believe me.
my absolutely favorite piece of news this week that I wanted to talk about, and then I'll let
This was all
Mason
you, buddy.
take care of the last one after this. Um,
Yep.
I'm gonna try not to butcher his name. Takaya Imamura has announced his retirement from Nintendo. Everybody knows me. We know I'm a Nintendo fanboy. This guy is a character designer. He was a lead artist and character designer on the likes of F-Zero and Star Fox. He created characters, Captain Falcon. He created Fox McCloud. He created Tingle, which is getting like Tingle from Zelda, which is everybody's being like that's the main thing he created. Whenever you see an article about him, it's like Takaya Imamura is retiring. It's just a picture of Tingle, and it's just like guys, Fox McCloud and Captain Falcon, and they're like Tingle, look at Tingle, and
No, there's one more you're missing.
yes, the moon from Majora's Mask.
Yes,
He
the
created the
inventor
moon
of the
from
moon.
Majora's Mask. Which is the stuff of nightmares if you
creepy
played it when you
moon.
were when you were a child. So this man was a pioneer. With the creative ability to create things such as Tingle and the Moon from Majora's Mask. I'm going to be missing him for sure. But yes, he is retiring. What say it? Say it. Go ahead,
Apparently,
Mason. Yeah.
Japan loves. Is it Japan or France?
Those are
It
two
is
very
either
different countries.
Japan or France that collectively loves Tingle. I mean, like they have a collective burning in their heart for this character.
It sounds like something
And
Japan would
every
do.
other country hates Tingle. Yeah, it's probably Japan.
Yeah.
We'll just go with Japan. Yeah, Japan just cannot get enough. Tingle had his own game in Japan, if memory serves. It was only Japanese release because nobody else would buy it.
Wouldn't shock me. There's a lot of Japanese exclusives, so I mean Tingle's great. I do love Tingle. I love Tingle, and I love the freaking the merchant. I can't Beetle. Beetle is his name, and he's the merchant in
I thought you were gonna say the mask salesman.
No, Happy Mask. No, no. Didn't Tingle imprison people in one game? No, Tingle was imprisoned in Wind Waker, from what I remember. So enslave. That's different.
I didn't know about
He might have. I don't recall.
I mean, you just look at him. I wouldn't put anything past this dude. Look at that nose.
Yeah, no, I was a big fan of Beetle as well for similar reasons, because whenever you get encountered with Beetle in like Skyward Sword or Wind Waker, you go into his shop and he's just like, hi, and he's just like steady biking and stuff on the in the side or whatever. He's just such an odd character. He fits the niche just like Tingle and Majora's Mask and Majora's Moon.
Yeah.
Like he forced his brother and some random dude to work on his island. Like I said, wouldn't shock me. If you look at that face and you tell me that there's not a demon inside of him, it's a shame we're losing Takaya Imamura. I am going to miss him.
I'm happy for him.
He can finally rest.
Yeah,
after blessing us with these.
Like, this is his legacy. Like, clearly he made all these characters, but his legacy is Tingle. Like,
yeah, when
if I was this dude, I would have kept working however long it took to release a character more mimetic than Tingle to erase Tingle from my legacy. But I guess being a Japanese dude and loving Tingle, he said this is fine. And he left.
I mean,
So
literally,
it's on
like
him.
the article itself. Would you create characters like Fox McCloud and Captain Falcon? Apparently, Tingle is the legacy that you leave behind, and not Fox or Captain Falcon. So
It's good stuff. I don't actually have. Oh, but yes, I do have a transition for this. Speaking of disgusting things like Tingle,
Tingle is a
um,
godsend.
the fighting game community comes out with a standardized code of conduct found here, um, that should and ideally will cover all events within the fighting game community. So little, and this I don't know this super well. I've never been into a big fighting game, unless you count me walking into a GameStop once to get my ass beat in Super Smash Brothers Brawl.
You went to a couple Melee tournaments
I've
with
never
us,
been into
I thought.
once. I think there was like at a restaurant or something.
Oh,
But
Rudito's, probably, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think yeah, I think that was about it.
You didn't
But
go to any of the ones at State?
no, I've never,
Oh, well, all right.
never really interested. But actually, you can kind of, my next point is you can kind of get an idea from it from just that little exchange right there. The fighting game community has always been very grassrootsy. Like my understanding of it is that it's significantly less organized than other what do you call it? Like an gaming organizations, gaming organization. Like you think about league tournaments and the league competitive scene is a lot more structured than fighting games. Like there are big fighting game tournaments and like circuits, um, and like you think Evo, what other ones? Yeah, this is how into the fighting game community I am. It's literally just Evo,
Uh,
but it's
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you think of one, let me know. But it's very decentralized. Like it's people will just decide to TO and they'll set up a tournament in their local area, and it's not, there's no real overseeing body. It's very much local and just whoever can get people interested, and then you have a tournament on your hands. Which has meant that the fighting game community it's been around a long time, and it's some of the most passionate. It's one of the most passionate communities out there. Like you think the Smash community is a shining example of how desperately these people can love their games. Like the Melee community, Nintendo has been trying to squash like a
Yeah.
roach for the past like 10 years.
And just like a
And
roach,
it's
they are
still,
unsquashable.
they are absolutely unsquashable. But the cost of that is just like a roach. The fighting game community can be fucking disgusting at times.
Yep.
If you
Absolutely.
remember last year, there's allegation after like report after person coming forward with very serious issues within the fighting game community. Not to put too fine a point on it, there were lots of basically every misconduct under the sun happened. There were people coming forward about being harassed, people coming forward about being raped, people coming forward about really just anything and everything. And it just kept going. Like it was a few people at first, and then it just burned its way throughout the entire fighting game community. And it, like no stone was left unturned. And just when you think it stopped, it wouldn't. And this, I guess, that was a really long background, but this is essentially a reaction to that. bunch of people got together from the fighting game community and said, all right, we need to kind of redeem our name in the eyes of, everyone essentially, and we need to stop this from happening. And whether you think it was more to save their name or more to protect people, it kind of determines where you fall on this guidelines, on these guidelines. So I enjoyed reading the guidelines. My particular favorite rule is rule 3.1.15.
God, this is not. This is going to be like, you have violated the FGCOC section 3.164. Like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, there will be people who will violate FGC Code of Conduct 3.1.15 because the rule states creating a nuisance or hazard by neglecting personal hygiene, refusing to take appropriate hygienic or medical precautions, or engaging in or encouraging others to commit any hygienically or medically unsafe behavior is a
Wow,
violation.
that is, yep. I can't wait to go up to half of the people at an FG tournament and be like, you have violated 3.1.5. Like, just literally just dressed up as Ace Attorney or Phoenix Wright. Shower over refining.
Take a damn shower. Put on some deodorant, dude. Like, that's
or it's like
welcome to the fighting
encouraging
game
it.
community
It's
where
like,
you have to make that a rule.
It's like encouraging that behavior. Can you imagine if a roommate walks up to you, yo, do I smell bad? Nah, but he did. It's like, now you're banned.
And he is kicked out. Yeah, that's going to be enforcing. That's going to be interesting. Actually, enforcing any of this will be interesting because it's like a suggestion for a local TO. This is what you should and should not allow at your tournament. You can say that you subscribe to this code of conduct, and by saying that, it gives you kind of the authority to be like, this is part of the tournament. I said as part of the guidelines that we are going to be subscribing to this. You're currently, violating parts of this rule, and there are serious parts of this rule. It's not just, have personal hygiene. So it kind of gives people, there's no like authority behind this, but it gives TOs the ability to easily define a well thought out set of rules and then act on them. Because previously a lot of what you'd see was, it kind of work it out, amongst yourselves. I'm trying to, run a tournament.
Yeah.
And apparently as part of this, the FGCOC has like a volunteer team of investigators for people who are experienced with the community and I guess have the time and ability to go in and look at, allegations when the TOs may or may not have that time. I feel attacked without personal hygiene.
Put on some damn deodorant. Jesus Christ.
Honestly. But there are a lot of people who are not a big fan of this. One of the most prominent is, which fall into two camps. They're apparently, according to, I think it was either a Verge article or a Kotaku article that I was reading that covered this, and they didn't give a source, which makes me very angry because I desperately wanted to read this. But they say that there is a whole contingent of belligerent fighting game community members that are saying they can't do this. What do you think they're taking offense to in this code of conduct? This is in response to the fighting game allegations from last year. There's an official code of conduct for the fighting game community. And what part of this code do we think that these troglodytes are objecting to?
Well, Mason, I can't lie. I haven't read the code, so
you already know this part of the code.
Is it wearing deodorant and taking showers? Is that seriously? They're seriously voicing concern over that? They're like, I don't want to have to shower to go outside.
Colin, you can't require this of the people. You don't have the authority.
That's actually insane.
They aren't rich. They aren't made of money. Their argument supposedly is that deodorant and showering is too
It's expensive. Are you fucking kidding me?
It's expensive. You can't require me to do this.
Are you?
And again, I'm saying this. It was in the article, but there was no source. In my very brief search on Twitter for this, I was not able to find somebody who said this. So take it with a grain of salt. But I need no convincing to believe that there are people out there who are saying this.
That is, I don't even have words. That's just so shockingly bad a take. I can't afford deodorant or water or soap. Yeah, truly. Do you think I'm Bezos? Bezos? I don't know how you say his name.
People like knocking back like G Fuel and Red Bull, staying at a hotel for a tournament they traveled to where the water and soap are free.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Like,
That's just,
so that's one camp of detractors for the code, which, man,
that camp needs to get
leave it
burned
to the
down.
fighting game community. But the other more legitimate criticisms of this, a lot of people are rallying around Altair. No, I forget what the dudes or what the guy's username was.
I'm getting a call.
But
from
essentially,
Jenny. Give me a second.
Mic off.
Okay. While Colin takes a call. Oh. Okay, good. We're back. Basically, the criticism from the other party is that from people who were inside the council while they were coming up with the code, and this was like a 6-month process. There's a lot of criticism that certain areas of the council weren't heard. There was like the process for submitting an idea or suggestion or an area that we need to be specific about never really got put into place effectively, and there's a lot of sense on the part of some of these people that, and I think I actually have the twit longer where we talk about this. Yes, is Alistair? Yes, Alistair, who's a identifies as a white queer trans man. Talks about how he went and was a part of the committee and left it and won't be signing the code because a lot of the people who wrote it
Mic on.
were very
Mic
much
on!
team.
You didn't have to stop. I just said that my mic was on. That's all I said.
Something's wrong with my internet.
Oh, why's that? You haven't gone
Yeah,
at all.
okay.
You haven't changed at all.
What do you mean?
Nothing stopped with your video or anything.
Oh, good. Yeah, basically, there are allegations and present in that twit longer, pretty well laid out line of argument that people are just doing this because they don't want to, because they're trying to redeem the name, and it's purely reactionary, and people's heart aren't in it, and people will sign up for it and not participate. So basically, they're saying they have no faith, or I keep saying they. He says he has no faith in this code's ability to really take off and that people will subscribe to it, because again, there's no real authority behind this. So there is a whole camp of people who are saying this is like a PR move and it won't result in any change. And it's a little early, in my opinion, to say that.
Yeah.
But I would not be surprised if very little came out of this. And I hate to say that, but I would not be shocked. I certainly hope that a lot of people subscribe to this and abide by it. We'll see.
Feel like the problem children the people who need to see this are going to already be bad. Well, I don't want to say that. The people who need to see this are either going to be unaware of the fact that that's a problem for them, or they're going to be bad enough people that they're not going to care about the fact that a code of conduct exists. Would be my theory.
Yeah, like they certainly won't be abiding by it. I think the idea behind this is that it gives larger and more official tournaments and TOs the ability to point at this and say, we signed this, we abide by it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, by joining this tournament, you probably, you implicitly agreed to behave by this and you're not.
Yeah.
So whereas before they'd be like, well, there's nothing in the rules about this, or well, it's fine. Now you'd be like, it's against the rules that we laid out. So we're kicking you out. And
Yeah.
before they could have kicked him out, but then there'd be, well, there was, why are you kicking me out?
Yeah. He
I
said,
think
she
that's
said, I
supposed to
didn't do
be,
that kind of thing. Now you can point
yeah.
to Article 3, Section 2.15. So, you know.
I hope that's how it gets used.
Yeah, I would
But
like to see it used. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we've both been at our fair share of Pokemon tournaments too, where hygiene would have been appreciated.
oh my god, and that's Pokemon too.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
honestly,
Pokemon is about as clean as it got.
our local scene wasn't that bad for it, but every time I had to travel for like a regionals or a states or something, it was noticeable. Why don't gamers shower? Because any time you spend showering is time you're not gaming.
That's
Simple,
right.
easy
And there's no,
question.
yeah, Maddie's got it. There's no achievement gained by showering. There's no achievement gained by wearing a belt either, I might add.
I'm wearing a belt
These
right
people,
now.
like, you'd be sitting, you'd be like walking between the tables on your way to or from a match, and you'd
Oh
just be
yeah.
looking on either side, and it'd be
Ass crack,
Crack
ass crack,
City out
ass
there.
crack. There was a
It was-
long period of time for Pokemon, kind of in the earlier years of us playing. I'd say our senior years, where I just felt bad for like any of the girls that tried to play, because you just had to make your way through the musk every round to try and sit down at a table. And it's just like, because when you were senior, see, for guys who don't know, or people who don't know, guys who don't know, seniors was the 11 to 14 age group. So you got the people just coming into puberty who were really, really ripe, who did not quite know
in need of deodorant.
what deodorant was. And I'm just, oh man, that is,
Gotten
yeah.
worse. Ever since money came into the Pokemon scene and has like attracted all these more Masters level players, which are 15 and up, you get a lot of the sweaties.
Yeah,
They're
the
coming
people,
out.
they're more from, they're coming from other gaming communities too. Like I know that Yu-Gi-Oh has lost a lot of players because of how the game has changed, and a lot of those lovely individuals have waddled their way over to Pokemon. So yeah,
And man, Nintendo thing too. Nintendo doesn't have any problem, making people mad about being family friendly like this.
no,
You turn people away at the door. Have like a sniffer. Have like a dog trained to
no.
smell BO. Like just you have like the lanyard that you give people that it gives you the ability to be in the tournament, and have the person like surreptitiously be a sniffer.
Yeah.
And so they give you, like, when they lean in to give you the lanyard, they're also taking a whiff. And if it smells so bad that they can't stand to put the lanyard on you, you just like
if
you're
if you
not
have
coming in.
so much hair that the lanyard cannot be placed around your neck, then you are not allowed to enter.
Yeah, that would be one that would make that would make so much money. I'm turning you away. Can I interest you in it's like the people who sell food at these places and like vastly overcharge people have like a soap and deodorant stand just right outside the doors. You cannot come in until you don't smell bad.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna direct you to that stand over there.
We will give you $5 off the entry fee to use this fucking deodorant right in front of us. Just please, God.
We're begging you.
with Axe body spray. Oh god, they would die in the hurricane chamber.
The hurricane machine. But the thing is, oh my god.
He would
You just
actually kill someone.
it's like imagine if like every smelly player, like every significant, if you violate section 3.1.15, you're added to like a lottery, and it's this awful lottery. And right, 4 or 5 rounds into a big tournament, when everyone's is about to find out whether or not they're going to bubble and or be out of the running for top cut, so everyone's super invested and not going to leave, they hold this raffle, and like 10% of the people get blasted by the Axe body spray tornado simulator. And they
It's
have to
like
go
getting
in.
slimed on Nickelodeon, but it's just Axe body spray.
And they take the L, but they act as like walking incredibly powerful little glade things for the rest of the day.
Dude, what
And
if
so the whole room smells a little better.
it was like, you know how they have each like length of table set up as like, table 1 through 20 or whatever is like the top players in the tournament, right? And then it has like each
Mhm.
table like that. Well, then at the end of every round the lights go off, and then just the lights highlight each specific table, and it's like it's like deciding which table wins. And then like the lights come on over one table, Axe descends from above, and that table just gets destroyed in Axe body
They
spray.
have like a huge dispenser like on what do you call, like on rails above the ceiling, and
Yeah.
then so like they're quietly the like the spotlight's right next to it, so it just goes down. Some players might melt. They might actually die.
Well,
It
so
make contact with them, and they just
one thing that Pokemon
yeah.
did or started to do more recently that kind of would encourage the lack of hygiene. I don't know if you've signed up for any tournaments where you could pay the extra fee to be a VIP, where you got your own table. You never had to move
I've
from your
seen
own
that. Yeah.
table, and people would get paired with you or whatever, and they'd have to come to your table to play you, and you never had to move.
Yes.
Yeah, I've
It's
had to
like
go
the
to that and
exclusive
notice that a
table.
good chunk of those people are like behemoths, like I could very clearly
They're
see
vast.
why they paid the extra fee. It's like this isn't for, any kind of convenience outside of you don't want to move. It's what it is. I don't know. You could get me and you
Ugh.
talking about this topic for a long, long time.
Yeah, we
So
could. Yeah, Colin and I could talk about Pokemon for actual hours.
it's not good. Not good. Not good. And our
Right.
experiences with that. So, yeah, I think we're gonna venture into the world of Overcooked here.
Yeah,
Original
Overcooked.
Sweat is not.